Yesterday's watch review today. I haven't gotten a chance to do one of these in a while because I've just been so busy. And it hasn't occurred to me, and I haven't had a watch model that's interesting enough to say, hey, you know what, let's do this. Though now I actually have a couple watches backed up that I want to talk about. So today's a special one. It's not often that I get to talk about a watch model that I've never owned before. Or in this case, never actually, before I embarked on this journey, I'd never actually even seen one in person. This is the 0624 5009 Lemon Drop. This is one of Seiko's very, very early LCD watches. And called Lemon Drop, that's the nickname for it because of the yellowish screen that it's got going on there. Pardon me. Anyway, but they're super cool. Back in the day, when Seiko first invented the LCD technology, these were expensive. This watch cost about 3 times the equivalent, like Rolex Submariner at the time. It was 3 times as expensive. These were, I think, new were the equivalent of like $1,400. They were a lot of money. They were really, really, really expensive. And these are quite collectible, actually, to the segment of people who are into LCDs and quartz watches. And and not everybody's into those. It takes a sort of a special interest to be into these kind of things. But you want to talk about crazy retro cool. But gosh, these things are... I came across one in a parts lot, and I was like, well, you know what the heck, I'll look at it. And I got it, and the problem with these LCDs, these early ones, is that they were beaten to death, and people paid a lot of money for them in an era, though, when people didn't really take care of their watches, and these were watches that were prone to damage from battery acid, and if they were damaged because the modules were hand-built, if you couldn't get a hold of the parts, they were done. I mean, it's very, very... I suppose it's possible to restore them. There's an LCD enthusiast in the UK called Seiko Kid, and he can take the modules apart and put them back together. But I mean, battery acid does a hell of a number on them. But even worse than that, the panels, the display panels, the glass display panels, they have these polarizing filters on them, and of course they have their liquid crystal, and everything's got to be kept apart. And if they start to fail, then all you can do is replace it, and the parts are impossible to find. Anyway, so we're gonna break, and I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna take the opportunity to talk about Seiko and their crazy 70s and 80s love of LCD watches, and they're trying to go back into it now with mixed success. Okay, let's pause. Okay, here it is. Like I said, this was a labor of love. When these things, they're kind of like light bulbs in the sense that they work or they don't, sort of. But like oftentimes, if there's something wrong with them, it's going to be a long road to hoe. Getting this complete piece was the process, because the spare parts were impossible to find, was a process of getting multiple different examples of this watch, and then being able to more or less build the best one. Now this is actually pretty correct and complete to itself, like original to itself. This came to me from the United States from a person who clears out estates. So this actually was one complete watch in of itself, for the most part. I did build a second one earlier. The earlier gen one I had is right here, but it has problems. You'll notice, see how dark the display is? Like, it works perfectly, but the LCD screen itself is just dark. And also it's kind of banged up a little bit. But it's, I was able to get a complete runner out of that one, but then this one came up, and I was able to get this one going, and with the other spares that I had from this project, I was able to get a complete one in great original condition. This one is fully functional. It does everything it's supposed to do. The light works, doesn't it? Yeah, the light works. It's working. So let's talk about some background about how these are done. This is a very early Seiko LCD watch. Very, very, very simple. All it is the time in 12-hour increments with a second counter and a light. That's it. Nothing else Nothing special, nothing funky. Very, very, very simple. Now, Seiko decided, pardon me, Seiko, I almost dropped it. Seiko, as soon as they had this out and they realized what a seller they had, they started coming out with new models. That's an 0624. And then you had the 0634. Now, the 0634 is more or less the same basic idea, and their modules look very, very similar, but they do more things. So this has the 12-hour time as before. It has let's see, yeah, there you can't really see, but the light is turning on there. But this one also has, let's see, this one also has a chronograph. Come on, would you go? Wait, I don't know what I'm doing here. Am I setting time? What am I doing? Ah, there it goes. I just wasn't pushing the button enough. I couldn't see through my camera. Anyway, so this one has a chronograph, and this was the first Quartz LCD chronograph ever made. And there you can see it, and that's pretty cool. This is the sort of crazy TV dial watch. This is a 06345019. They're cool. That's a cool thing. The next one that Seiko went to, they had a whole bunch of different versions of these, and they put a lot of money into them. This is another 0634, and you can see the quality of the case. Solid stainless, beautifully, tightly machined, these gorgeous curves. But those modules, man, they just get fried. And I have so many module notes on them about which parts of the modules work. They're just, it's kind of heartbreaking, kind of heartbreaking. So there's that. And then you have, let's see, what is this one? This one here. Ooh, same time period. So Seiko started really crazy branching out, doing all these different models. This is a late 70s M159. This one's completely unrestored, but it is mostly functional. This model is famous because Steve Jobs was pictured wearing one once. Though I don't know if his was the gold version or not. But anyway, M159. I mean, Seiko had a ton of models that they pumped out, and people bought them. This is an A159. Why can't I ever remember? Why can't I ever remember? Yeah, A159. And this is a late 70s model. And again, this is now they've added that it's an alarm. So it's an alarm and a clock and a chronograph. And they're really down for doing that kind of stuff. They started coming out with more interesting models. This is a JDM watch as they started going out. This is a world time. So it'll tell you time zones. It'll tell you the time that it is local. I think you can set this to 24-hour increments, and you can do this as a world time. It's kind of like a Traveler'S Watch. This one is JDM. And Seiko started doing more crazy stuff, like this pulse meter. This is famous because this is the watch that the colonial Marines wore in the movie Aliens. This is the correct one, the rare one. But this one actually will read your pulse. It actually works. I've tried it back when I was a big runner. I would listen to this thing, and you do it, and it'll tell you your pulse. Anyway, cool stuff, the LCDs. There's a lot of variety to play with, a lot of things to look at, and all kinds of other stuff. So the way that these things are built is interesting. You have sort of a clamshell case, the top and bottom snapped together with this sort of spring dealy-boppy. And then the way that it's built, this is specifically for the lemon drop, which is right there. The way that this works is it goes like so. You've got your case back here, and this is the actual module. This is the little calculator module. This is your basically your silicon circuit right here. And all these leads are the things that that communicate with all the leads on the back of the LCD panel itself. And then you've got this, which is literally a glass mirror, a teeny tiny glass mirror, and that drops right in there, just like that. Now the weak point of these LCDs is always the LCD panel. Like this one's just roasted, but it's this crazy multi-layer construction with polarizing filters top and bottom, and 2 layers of glass put together with electrical leads and a liquid crystal on the inside. This one is just roasted. It's just destroyed. But that would go in there just like that. That fits in there, and all those contacts would speak to this LCD panel if in fact it wasn't completely broken. Let's see, there's that. I think that's in the wrong place. Then you have this little handy dandy diddly thing, which goes on here. It's a spring, and this presses down and holds the LCD panel in place. I'm not going to snap that down. And when it comes to the lemon drop specifically, it has this little yellow filtery dealy thing. Now, I'm going to confess, I don't know why this is here. It's not polarizing. It just turns it yellowy green. I don't know why they do that. There's another world time watch that's called the Pan Am, and it also has this color. And the theory was there that it was that people liked it because it was easy to read in low light cockpit situations. But I don't know why this is the way that it is. It seems funny to have this entire manufacturer just to have this extra little thing with this piece of yellow plastic on there. But that's the way that they work. They're pretty cool. Like I said, oops. And then you have this. This is the top piece. This is their crystal. It's a piece of glass. It's bonded onto this piece of metal with ports for the two buttons, and the buttons have seals. These aren't really sealed in any way that I would consider even slightly waterproof. It's probably dustproof, but all the buttons and the crown and the sandwich between the movement holder and this thing, there's a seal there, and there's also a seal around the case back here, but that's a lot of areas for water to get in. I would consider it to be dust-proof more than anything, but it's neat. Boy, and they put a lot of effort and time into these. Again, there's that stainless steel, all deeply milled, with all these removable links in here, multiple varied brushed and polished surfaces. I guess maybe the one thing is too that people don't really is when they see them, they see these old quartz watches, they don't see them even slightly what they looked like when they were new. When you see, how beautiful they were when they came out and how beautiful and nice they were. They see them when they look, like this. They see these things sitting in, thrift store baskets of watches, and they just look like a beat up piece of crap. And you don't see what they look like when they were new. I mean, this was another Seiko. This is actually pretty rare. This one, it's a, I'm not where my, let's see, yeah, this is a D124. Again, pretty rare. And that's what people see, and they see just junk. They don't see all the care and work and love that went into them because they look so beaten up. Poor old things. In any case, so that's a lot of fun. Not a lot of people look for LCDs, and there's only a few that people really scrap over, but this is one of them, the Lemon Drop. People really dig it. There's a lot less expensive options out there, and Seiko made a great product. This one here, this is a JDM piece, actually. It still has it's in near new old stock condition, still has the kanji resizing instructions inside the bracelet. This is a cool watch, JDM. Got this from an estate here in town. Somebody must have bought it on vacation. Pretty cool, but you can get these things and they're not a lot of money. The size isn't really what people like these days, but they're cool. No reason to buy a $50 Casio. You can buy something like this. It's solid stainless steel, and if you make the effort, you can put all new button seals in and have an alarm chronograph. Anyway, so this was fun. Couple months of work probably on and off to make this happen. I don't know how often I'll wear it, but it sure is neat. Okay, well there you go. The 0624 5009 Lemon Drop. Cool. Thank you so much.